Anasteo, nawago magante gagawin to temp. There na tiga ten sigas and ego causes to skunganik and pilchin. Wago skunaka suste game me watch new again. Ogiskrama ego ogiskrama ganomania. Ego not catchkak. Nui ego mata matino. So I am Darian Achkate. For ones who are just joining first class tonight, I come from the Cowses First Nation, but I'm living in Regina at the moment, Regina, Saskatchewan. I'm a student and a teacher at First Nations University of Canada. And tonight we're going to be learning some Cree. So sorry about that. I was just answering some people's questions. And somebody asked me right away, pronouncing BACs, BACs. BACs is a bird. That's how we would say BACs, BACs, BACs. It is a mix between a P and a B. You might hear that BACs. So this mix of both. But what I want to get started tonight, what I have scheduled, we're here together for 10 weeks. So I try and do something new every week. But like I said, like Kristen said too, if you guys have questions, just feel free to type them in the chat or even put your mic on and holler out your question and I'll be able to answer it, because we don't have to be confined to the schedule that I put. We can learn about different kinds of things. If you guys have questions or there's something you want to know in the language, we could always talk about that. But with that, we're going to kind of keep some sort of semblance of a schedule and make sure that we're moving along and learning different things. So for week one, we kind of just went on a quick introduction, how to say our name and stuff. And that's actually what I wanted. This way, just got it. Boom, 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 if I can grab it. Because that's something that I always try and teach. I always try to teach all the time is a quick basic introduction. So for the first 5 weeks, that's what I'm going to kind of be talking about for maybe the first 5 or 10 minutes. Is how we can kind of introduce ourselves in the Hioewan. So for the first week, what we were looking at is, of course, let's see. I'm gonna do this one, but I'll keep the second one. It was Nitsikasan. Nitsikasan. That's what we were looking at the very first week. So for example, I could say Darian Nitsikasan. Nitsikasan. So that's the word you're gonna want to know. When you're trying to introduce your name, who you are, what your name is, you'll say Nitsikasan. Yeah, so for example, I'd say Darian Nitsikasan. That's what we're looking at the very first week last week, was talking about our name really quickly. What I want to introduce this week, the question I want to, or the answer, the sentence I want to introduce is Kayate Ochinia. Kayate Ochinia. So that's the one that I'm going to ask a little bit of people to say here, maybe 4 or 5 people. I'm going to pick at random to help me say this. But just by yourselves, sitting in your homes, just repeat after me. Say, Kayate Ochinia. Kayate Ochinia. And this right here, you can even get by just by saying Ochinia. That's probably one that if you know a little bit of Cree or learned Cree or you heard Cree from other people, they might have just said Ochinia. They'll just say Ochinia. Okay, no voice today. So that will make it a little bit simpler and just say Ochinia. Ochinia. So for example, me, I would say Cowses Ochinia. I am originally from Cowses. So you'll put where you're from in the beginning and you'll just say Ochinia. So like I said, for me, Cowses Ochinia. I am from Cowses. The question that I'm going to ask the people out there, you'll hear me say this. Tante Ochigia. Tante Ochigia. Where are you from? So that's the question form of that same sentence. Tante Ochigia. Where are you from? So that's what I'm going to be asking about 5 people from the participants. Natalia, Tante Ochigia.
Regina Ochina, or sorry, Ochinia.
Yeah, perfect. Regina Ochinia. Let's see, what did somebody, is this where you, like where your family comes from? No, we have a different word for where you are, where you're born. We say something different. This is where like your original hometown, you know, your original reserve. This is where your bloodline comes from. So if you come from Regina, you know, you're born and raised. That's where your family lived for most of the time. That's where you come from. That's what you would say. But for example, if you know you're from a specific reserve, or you know your family came from a little town other than where you live right now, that's what you would say. You know, even though, especially your reserve, because that's what that is like, kind of talking about. Ochinia, where do you come from? What reserve do you come from? What town do you come from? What city do you come from? So like Natalia said, she Regina, Ochinia. I come from Regina. Philip. Oh, Mather, is that how you say your last name?
Yes. Montreal, Chinia,
Oh, Monial?
Montreal.
And Monial. Yeah, holy, that's deadly. That's cool. That's good. Let's see. Shira. Tante Ochikia. Watch Tusai. Let's see. Vanessa. Tante Ochikia.
Gordon Ochinia.
Oh, Gordon's, eh? Holy, my brother's from Gordon's. Deadly. We have ways to say different areas, eh? Like Regina, the name for Regina, of course, Oskanaka Sastegi. Pile of bones. That's what we call Regina. Oskanaka Sastegi, pile of bones. For Vanessa, you have Gordon's has three different names for Gordon, so you got to practice one of them. You have Caneo Naskateo, for us, Kisapitanak at the end of the hill, and also Posaganachi in the Touchwood Hills. So further, when more, maybe I'll share more about that. But we're gonna cruise along here. Somebody's saying Atikamik. Oh, okay. Oh, Chikia, Tikamiko, Chikia, Cheyenne. Yeah, I can tell your last name. Eggy, Tante o Chikia.
Did you say Maggie?
Yeah, Tante o Chikia.
Maggie, Osikia. No,
Oh, you come from Maggie? Or
no, Papikasi, so, sorry, help me out.
say Ochinia.
Ochinia, Papikasi, Ochinia.
Yeah, okay. I thought there was a little town or something. It's a little town called Maggie's.
Papikasi, Ochinia.
You know what Papikasis means?
Hawk?
Yeah, Papikasis, a sparrow hawk.
Sparrow
So
hawk.
it's a real specific kind of hawk. That's cool. And we'll ask one more person. Let's see. Anna Lee, Tante Ochigia.
Ochi.
Oh, there we go. Oh, Tante Anna, I thought that was you. Anin. Ah, let's see. Okay, I'm just gonna catch up on this on the weekend. I want to say practice Tansikia, but without knowing no, Tansikia is people understand that across dialect, Tansikia, but you'll see that it kind of changes depending on the dialect. Not Tansik, but the second word, Tansikia, is Y dialect. If you go up north to TH, they say Tansikida, TH dialect. If you go to Manitoba, I think they say Tansikina. So it has no disrespect or nothing like that. There we go, yeah. So you'll see it, Tansikina, Tansikina, Tansikida, Tansikia. So all of them just mean like, hello, how are you? So that's what I want us to be practicing so far, because I think around week 5 is when we're gonna do a whole kind of review of what we're talking about here. So the first one that we had, everybody say Nitsikasun. So that's my name is, Darian Nitsikasun. My name is Darian. And everybody say Ochinia. So that one is I am originally from, like where you come from, your reserve. Wawaske su sa gaigan. Wawaske su sa gaigan. That's how you say that. Who is that in the chat? Amy was asking how to say that. Wawaske su sa gaigan. That's Wawaske su. Up lake. That's the literal translation. It might be in something different in Cree or in English, because Waske Su right here is a elk. That's cool. Is that where you're from, Amy? Waske Su Sagaigan? Ah, there we go. That's something to practice. So now I want to go back into what I want to be doing for most of the class today. Is talking about numbers and dealing with different kinds of questions, talking about numbers, more so our age, and also using the months. So this is stuff you might have learned already. I know lots of people here, introduced to Cree, that you might have parents that speak Cree, grandparents, your community might use the language in the school, in kindergarten, grade 1, grade 2, you're probably learning the numbers. So if you know this already, that's good, because just think of this as extra practice. So akitasuna. That's how we say numbers. Oh, whoops, I'm going too far. Akitasuna. Akitasuna is numbers. That's how we say numbers in Cree. I'm just trying to get this little box out of my way. There we go. So counting in the Hioewin, counting in the Cree language. So that's what I said the first week, is that I'm trying to even, train myself to get away from saying Cree, the Cree language. I'm trying to make sure I use Nehioewin, because that's how we say the Cree language in Cree. So counting in Nehioewin, it follows a pattern. It places these different endings on what we call the base numbers to create a new number. So for example, peyak is the number for 1. If we want to say 11, we say peagosap. You see that peyak is still in there. It just has a special ending put on the end to create the number 11. All right, place always confused if I'm from BC, but my family is a peyak. Yeah, that could work, peyak. But you'll see peagosap, that osap ending kind of makes it into 11. If you're from BC, but your family is from Sask, you would probably say your traditional homelands, like where your family came from, if they came from a reserve in Saskatchewan. Oh, is it just black? I'll stop sharing and I'll reshare. Are you able to see it now, Amy? Okay, hopefully everybody can see this, because yeah, Zoom has that kind of stuff going on sometimes. But like I said, Chantel, sorry. If your family comes from Sask, like if you're from a reserve, most people would say they're reserve. But we do have a word for BC. If that's where you're like born and raised, you connect to it more over there. That awasapisk. I can't put the macrons on this, or actually I think I can. Oh yeah. Awasapisk. That's how we say BC. Beyond the mountains, Owasapisk. So even that you could say Owasapisk Ochinia. I am from BC. So like I said, when we're counting, there's different endings that are placed on the base number. Peyak, 1 becomes peagosap to make 11. Newo, 4 becomes ne mitano to say 40. We just add these little endings on the end of the word to create bigger numbers. So this means that if you know your base numbers from 1 to 10 in the Hioewin, all you have to do is learn these specific endings, which will help you to count in the higher numbers. So first, we have to start out with our base numbers. You have to know your 1 to 10s if you want to continue further counting. So for example, we say peyak, 1, niso, 2. So everybody repeat after me. Say peyak, niso, nisto, newo, nianan, Nigotwasik. Tepa Koop. Ayina Neo. Kega Mitatat. Mitatat. So that's how we count from 1 to 10 in Cree. Those are the words that we use. Peyak, niso, nisto, newo, nianan, nigutuasik, tepakup, aina neo, kega mitatat, mitatat. Legwangin territory. How do you say territory? We just usually say askik. Askik. And everybody seems to have 8 is kind of tricky. So again, I'll count them slower. So 1, peyak. 2, niso. 3, nisto. 4, newo. 5, nianan. 6, nigutwasik. 7, tepakup. And number 8, even me when I was first learning, holy, this is kind of a mouthful. For 8, we say aye na neo. Aye na neo. Aye na neo. So again, everybody try to say 8 with me. Say aye na neo. And then we have kega mitatat. Kega mitatat. And just mitatat. So now I want to see Barbara, matewichahin. Matewichahin. Oh, sorry. Matewichahin. You might hear me say that sometimes when I'm teaching. I'll ask you guys, especially when I'm asking you to do something. Matewichahin means please help me. Matewichahin. Barbara, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Aha, so now I want you to count 1 to 10 for me. So count 1 to 10 for me real quick. Show me how you do it.
Peak, niso, nisto, newo, nianan, nigatwasik, te pat, kup, ayanenat, neneo, kega mitatut, mitatut.
So again, say ayina neo.
Ayananeo, ayananeo,
Say kega mitatat.
kega mitatat,
Mitatat.
mitatat.
Yes, perfect. That was good.
Let's see.
That's perfect. Clayton, matewichahin.
Biek, Niso, Nisto, Niwa, Nianan, Nikutasik, Ipago, Ainanio, Gaimitat, Gaimitatat, Mitatat.
There we go. Perfect. Oh, Ali, man, you counting since kindergarten, this guy, I can tell. That's good. And I'll ask one more person. Jada, who is that? My sister's name is Jade, and I also have a cousin named Jade, but that could be neither of them.
Hi.
Dante Uchigia, where are you from? Are you the Jada I'm thinking about?
Yeah. I think you're helping me in my Cree class for tutoring.
Oh, okay, other Jada. Okay, that's the other. I have a sister named Jada, so I'm sorry.
okay.
I know, but I
No,
know
I'm
who you
good.
are. Count for me.
Peak, niso, nisto, newo, nianan, negatwasik, tepa,
Yeah, tepa koop. Say that tepa koop.
tepa koop,
Say ayina neo.
ayananeo,
Oh, whoops. Hi. Say kega mitatat.
Kega mitatat.
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 There we go. Perfect. That's good. Thank you for coming, Jada.
Thank you.
So you'll see. Payak. Peaguan. It comes from the same kind of word. Yeah. Payak is part of peaguan. I am the same. Yeah. Like Emery's saying. Payak is one. Is similar. Peaguan comes from the word payak, one. Meaning, of course, peaguan means I'm the same. Peaguan, I'm the same. So that's good. That's a good observation. So that's how we count from 1 to 10. But the one thing you'll notice that I have here is that for the word for 9 in Nihiuewin, it literally translates to almost 10. Kega comes from the word kegach, which just means almost. Kega mitatat, almost 10. So we have a word for 9, but somewhere along the line, this language is at least 3,000 years old. Somewhere along the line, we lost our word for 9, our original word, and we just ended up calling it kega mitatat, almost 10. And you can see that too in Soto and Anishinaabemowin. We still have our word for 9 in Anishinaabemowin. We say shank shup, or sank shup. Some people say a little bit 7, 8, 9. That could have happened in Cree too, right there. Payak. Yeah. Yeah. So now when we go ahead, when we start to count past 10, so for example, from 11 to 19, when we count from 11 to 19, all you're going to be doing is taking your base numbers, payak, niso, nisto, and so on, and add the ending osap. Or sometimes you'll even just add sap without that. You'll just add sap. But that happens if that base number already ends in a O. That's when you'll see that sap is put on there. And that creates the numbers from 11 to 19. So like I said, we're taking our base numbers, payak, niso, nisto, and we're just placing osap or even sap onto the end to create these numbers. So payak is 1, payagosap, 11. Niso is 2, nisosap, 12. And nisto is 3, nistosap, 13. So we're just adding sap onto the end of these words, but I'll talk a little bit about the ones that do take a bigger change. So everybody repeat after me. Say peagosap, nisosap, nistosap, neosap. Now this one's kind of long, so it could be a tongue twister. It sounds like niananosap. Niananosap. So now everybody again say nigotuasosap. Tepakuposap. Ayinaneosap. And for 19, you'll see that some people, it'll be interchangeable. Some people might use, everybody again say, kega mitatat osap. Kega mitatosap. It's mitatosap. I heard that. Kega mitatosap. Or everybody again, the last one say kega nistano. Kega nistano. So that's what you'll hear for 19. Some people might use kega mitatosap or kega nistano. Both of them mean 19, just depends which one you feel is easier. For me, I always say kega nistano. It's easier to say, easier to remember. Kega nistano for 19. So again, peagosap. Oops. We say peagosap, nisosap, nistosap, neosap, niananosap, nigotuasosap, tepakuposap, ayena neosap, and kega mitatatosap, or kega nistano. So again, I'll do it one more, a little bit slower. I'll say peagosap, nisosap, nistosap, neosap, niananosap, nigutuasosap, tepakuposap, ainaneosap, kegamtatatosap, or keganistano. So now let's see. Kayla A. Matewichihin.
You got to get me on the big ones.
Yeah, I gotta. So just repeat after me. Say peagosap,
Peagosap,
nisosap,
nisosap,
nistosap,
nistosap,
neosap.
neosap,
Try say 50 now.
nia nia nososap, nia nosap,
Say niananosap.
nia nanosap,
Perfect. Try say 16.
niga tuasosap,
Try
Niga
say
tua.
17.
tepa kuposap,
Yes, say 18.
aya nina neososap,
Say again. Say ayena neosap.
ea na neosap, ea na
There we
neosap.
go.
There you go.
And then whichever one you want to use. Like I said, kega nistano is way easier to say.
Kega nistano.
Yeah, way easier to say. Kega mitatatosap. Kind of a
Ke-
tongue twister. It's a mouthful,
Kega
but you can try say it. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, kega nistano is always kind of way easier to say. So I'll ask one more person so we can move on. Samantha, Sam. Is that Sam Pelche?
Hello,
That's it. Are you which Sam are you? Are you from Kansas?
I'm from Kansas. My dad is Terrence.
Okay, we're cousins now. There we go.
Here we go.
Yeah, we're cousins now. How say it with me? Say peagosap,
Yagosa,
nisosap,
Nisosap,
nistosap,
Nistosap,
neosap,
Newosap,
niananosap,
Niananosap,
nigotoasosap,
Nigotuasosap,
tepakuposap,
Tepakuosap,
ainaneosap,
Ayananeosap,
and then say keganistano.
Kiganistano,
Yeah, that one's way easier to say. Or try to challenge yourself and say kega mitatatosap.
Kigamitatosap.
There we go, easy. That's good. Yeah, your dad Terry. Who is your mushum? Was it Sydney?
Yes,
Yeah, okay. Sydney's dad, your great grandpa JN, and my
Yes.
great great grandpa Solomon were brothers.
nice.
Oh yeah,
Cousin.
so we're cousins now. Oh, perfect, good job.
Thank you.
Oh, so that's the numbers. Like I said, base numbers. If you know your base numbers, hi, why can't I press on it now? Just got a bit messed up. There we go. When you have your base numbers, you'll be able to kind of count all the way. If you know your base numbers 1 to 10, all we're doing is adding these endings right here for, OSAP, for the numbers 11 to 19. And yeah, I can imagine, Tanisha, if you guys are saying peak, peak niso, peak nisto, this could be a little bit different, the way that we count here. Now we're going to take a step further, because now we're going to start talking about the numbers, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and so on. So as we move forward in counting, you'll see that these other specific endings that these base numbers will take when they're in the 20s, 30s, and 40s will now change to omitano, or sometimes even just mitano, if that number already ends in O. But these ones are contracted a lot, meaning that there's parts of the words that aren't kept when we speak, when we say, we drop parts of the words, we drop some of the sounds in these words. So like I said, ni so is 2, When we say 20, we say nistano. So everybody say that, nistano. When we say 30, we're taking the word for 3, nisto, and we're adding that mitano. So everybody say nisto mitano. And I was up north around Candle Lake, and we had some speakers a little bit from the south, and like around North Battle, not from the south, but from North Battleford, south of them. And when how they said 30 was nistumptano, nistumptano. So you might hear that nistumptano for 30. Down here, I always just heard nistomitno, nistomitno. Up there, a little bit changed, nistumptano. Now everybody try to say 40 with me. Say ne mitano. Ne mitano. So that's what I mean that we drop some of the sounds, is that we see that the regular word in its regular form here is newo. How we say 4, newo. When we 40, it all of a sudden just becomes ne mitano. We don't have that wo. We don't say newo mitano. Newo mitano. We end up just saying ne mitano. So we do drop it a little bit. So everybody say for 50, say niano mitano. Niano mitano. For 60, negotuaso mitano. Negotuaso mitano. 70, tepa cupo mitano. Tepa cupo mitano. For 80, we say ayinane mitano. Ayinane mitano. For 90, we say kega mitatato mitano. Kega mitatato mitano. And for 100, we just say mitato mitano. Mitato mitano. Some people say mitatato mitano, mitatato mitano. But most I heard always just cut it mitato mitano. 94, oh, that's when we're getting up there. So we're going to talk about making compound number words. And compound number words, what I don't know if I'm using the terminology right, you know, a compound number. I'm not a math guy, I'm a language guy. But I'm just thinking of how we put the numbers together to make a bigger number, you know, like our friend Barbara is saying 94. How do we say 94 in Cree? I'm going to show you how we'll make those kinds of numbers, because we've seen so far the base numbers 1 to 10. We looked at how to make, you know, the teen numbers, you know, including 11 and 12. And now we're looking at how to make, there we go, there's the, yeah, he's the Mr. Dr. Zip Vincent, he'll know. So that's, and now we're talking about the 20, 30, 40, and so on numbers. And you'll see, like I said, they take all different endings, all different kinds of endings. OSAP happens from these numbers, 11 and 19, whereas mitano or omitano happens within the 20, 30, 40, and so on numbers. So like I said, all numbers in the Nehiyawin are consisting of the base number and the different endings. So if you know the first 10 numbers in the Nehiyawin, all you need to do is use the different endings to count. In this way, you are able to count a million if you learn all the different endings. There are some endings as you go higher up in the numbers, like when you get to the thousands, and in this case when you get to the millions. But it's not so much endings, it's just that we're adding little extra words on there. So like, for example, here's the word for a million. And it kind of just means like the most greatest 100. That's literally what it means, the most greatest biggest 100. So that's how we'd say that. Mawache kiche mitatato mitano. So that maybe somebody's, it could be a thesis, could be a dissertation, count to a million in Cree. And then that's how we'll do it. Somebody has to do a dissertation on that. Somebody needs to become a doctor and just count all the way up to 1 million and just say that you typed up a whole research project in Cree. That'd be good. So the number system follows a pattern that once you learn it, it can become simple to remember and use. So for example, payak is 1, peagosap 11, niso is 2, nisosap 12, nistano 20, nisto 3, nistosap 13, nistomitano 30, newo 4, neosap 14, nemitano 40, nianan 5, nianosap or niananosap 15, niananomitano 50. So that's how we end up counting in the here. But now when we're talking about Sapios to get some confirmation on that. Yeah, compound number words, that's what I call them, is all the words in between, like 21, 34, 42, all those numbers. You know, we know the base numbers, 11 to 19, and the 20, 30, 40, 50, and so on. That's what now we're gonna look at compound number words. So now that we've seen how to say the base numbers, you know, the 11 and 19s and the 20, 30, 40s, let's look at how we will recreate compound number words using Nehiwe Nakitasuna. You know, Nehiwe numbers. So to create Nehiwe numbers, the compound number words like 23, 36, 45, what happens is can be a little difficult to understand at first, but once you catch the pattern, what happens is that we take those numbers that are from the 20, 30, 40s, you know, just got a bit of a, if I can click it. Oh, there we go. We take these numbers, nisto mitano, ne mitano, as the first number. And then we take the numbers from the 11 and 19, like these, peagosap, nisosap, nistosap, and connect them together to create the bigger number. So for example, if I wanted to say 21 in the Hioewin, I would take the word for 20, nistano, and the word for 11, peagosap, and put them together like this. Nistano peagosap. Nistano peagosap, which makes 21. So a lot of people would think that when we're creating these numbers, we would just take the number for 20, nistano, and add the number for 1, peyak, you know? Lots of people would think that, nistano peyak for 21, you know, nistano niso, 22. But what actually happens is that we take the numbers from 11 and 19, the osap, those sap endings, these ones, osap, peagosap, nisosap, nistosap, and we add those to, you know, nistano, nistomitano, nemitano, and so on to create these compound number words. So like again, for 31, I would take the word for 30, nistomitano, and the word for 11, peagosap, and again, put them together. Nistomitano peagosap, 31. So what ended up happening is that before, these numbers right here, 11 and 19, did have the word 10 coming before them. You'll hear older speakers from up north, like up in northern Saskatchewan, they will still say mitatat peagosap, mitatat nisosap, mitatat nistosap, you know, putting the word 10 in front of these words, mitatat peagosap for 11, mitatat nisosap for 12. But somewhere along the way, in Y dialect and other dialects, we dropped that mitatat, the word for 10, and we just kept it as peagosap, nisosap, nistosap, neosap, to account for these words. So that's why when we're making other numbers like 21, 22, 23, we use these numbers, the mitano, the omitano numbers, the 10, 20, 30s, and so on, or 10, and pair them with peagosap, nisosap, nistosap, is because that's how we always used to count before we dropped the mitatat. So for example, if I wanted to count in the 20s, so nistano by itself just means 20. If I wanted to count all the way up to 30, I would say nistano, nistano peagosap, nistano nisosap, nistano nistosap, nistano neosap, and so on. So you're just connecting nistano, the word for 20, to any of these, peago sap for 1, niso sap for 2, nisto sap for 3, and so on. This is how we count in Cree. It's a different kind of system of how we count in Cree. It's a lot of building up on each other, and you'll see all those different kinds of endings. O sap, o mitano. So that's how we count in Cree. We take the number for 20, 30, 40, so on, and add the word for 11, 12, 13. But that second number is represented, 21, is represented by peago sap. Nistano peago sap, 21. So that could be used in numbers to, speak about our age in a Hiuewan. If you're just 30, it's easy. You just say nisto mitano. If you're just 40, it's easy. You say ne mitano. It's in the middle where some people get confused because you have to add another word on the end of there. But before we learn about how to tell our age, we have to first learn how to say our age, the word that we use for our age in the Hiuewan. So everybody repeat after me. Say, Nititato piponan. So again, I'll say it slower. I'll say, Nititato piponan. So again, everybody try to repeat after me as best as you could. Say, Nititato piponan. And when we say it regular speed, this is why a lot of people, even me, like I was talking before, some of my friends who are learning Cree, and you speak real fast, like you speak so fast. And it's hard because the way that I learned was from northern speakers, like up in northern Saskatchewan. That's where I learned most of my actual spoken Cree, as well as just talking to myself. And if you listen to those northern speakers, yeah, they speak pretty fast. So I think that's where I picked it up. So if I was to say this just regular speed, just like I was talking just regularly, I would say nititato piponan, nititato piponan, nititato piponan. So you can build up to that, but if you want to say it slower, we say nititato piponan. There we go. Yeah. Nicole, Matewich hin. Nicole Teski. Is that how you say your last name? I'm sorry if I butcher your last name.
Yes. Do you want me to say my actual age or?
No, just say the verb this word. Say nititato piponan.
Nititato piponan.
Perfect. That's good. Holy. How do you say your last name?
It's Teski.
Teski, okay. I didn't want to butcher anybody's last name because my last name, Achigate. Achigate. That's how you say my last name. Achigate. Achigate. But a lot of people end up saying like Ajakudi, like I have cooties or something. And that's not how you say it. So I want to make sure that I respect everybody's last name. And I always like, it's in the language, my last name. Achigate. It's Ajakudi or Achkate. And I always thought it meant something real cool. I always envisioned it. I always thought it meant something real cool, but it's just a mud hen. It's a really ugly, kind of gross tasting duck that you'll find in marshes and swamps. So it's nothing cool. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna ask 2 more people here. Sean, Matewich in.
Need to
Try to say it.
Oh,
Go ahead. No, you're about to jump. Go ahead, do it.
Nitutato peopleman. People now.
Say this.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
No.
say that with me. Say nititato piponan.
Nitutato peopleman.
Yeah,
Nan.
nititato pip. Yeah, there we go. Nititato piponan. Perfect.
I'm
And
thinking
one
of
more
Nan.
person.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Nan bread.
Yeah, nan. Yeah, no, it's like nan. Close sounds. So that's a good comparison. And Brendan, Matewichahin. Say it with me. Say nitatato piponan, Brendan.
Nitatato piponan.
Kitoam again. Nitatato piponan.
Nitatato piponan.
There we go. Perfect. So that word sometimes is a tongue twister for some people, but other people you get it right away. Nitatato piponan. That's like a machine gun. You just got to say it. Nitatato piponan, like you're holding a gun or something. So if I was to say my age, for example, I'd say nista no neosap nitatato piponan. I would take the word for 20, nista no. Then I would take the word for 14, neosap, put them together. Nista no neosap nitatato piponan. I'm 24 years old. Nitatato piponan. So that's the word that we use, nitatato piponan. But the word nitatato piponan does not translate literally to, I am blank years old. It is centered around the word pipun. What is pipun? Anybody? What is pipun?
Winner.
Yeah, it is winter. Yeah, I like the big mountain Rocky boy accent. The winter. It's winter. But yeah, it's winter. Nihiwe win word pipun is dealing with winter or winter. When somebody asks you your age in Nihiwe win, this is the question that you'll encounter when somebody's asking you your age. They'll say, Tantato pipunian. Tantato pipunian. Akitaso na is akitaso na. Numbers. Akitaso na. Yeah, akitaso na. But like I said, tantato pipunian. That's the question that you would hear. Somebody's asking you, how old are you? Tantato pipunian. Tantato pipunian. How old are you? But that question that can be broken down into three different parts. Tantato. Tantato means like how many. Tantato. Pipun means winter, or in this case, winters. And that very last part of the word, that ayin, that long E-Y-A-N, that's what creates the verb. That's what makes it a verb. Tantato pipunian, how old are you? But literally, it's asking you, how many winters are you? How many winters are you? And that's dealing with traditionally in our culture, and still today, winter is harsh, eh? Winter is harsh, and I can't imagine back then we didn't have no central heating. We didn't have houses. We just lived, out on the earth in our teepees. We lived in our lodges. We lived, out wherever we were traveling. So winter was a hard time back then, especially because, not everybody would be able to survive the winter. You have to have enough food, you have to have proper clothing, and also you have your family to take care of, so you can't always put yourself first. So that's how it was. That's why how many winters are you is literally like how many winters have you seen? How many winters have you survived? How many winters have you been through? So that's what that whole dealing with our age is talking about. The winter. How many winters are you? And to answer, we just put the number first, our age, nitatato piponan, to literally say I am blank winters. So if I was to go back to my example, nistano neosap nitatato piponan, I am 24 years old. That would literally mean like I am 24 winters. I've been through 24 winters. Nistano neosap nitatato piponan. So that's what I want to ask some of you now. I'll ask you this question. Tantato pipunian, how old are you, or what are you? That's a typo. It's supposed to say what age are you? How old are you? Tantato pipunian. But literally, like I said, that means how many winters are you? So in the answer, you'll use the numbers that we just seen. But if you need help, let me know. If I call on you and you're not sure, you want to double check, make sure you're saying the right number, then I'll help you through it. But what I want to make sure that you follow up with, again, nitatato piponan. And you don't have to use your actual age if you don't want to. It's just all for practice. You don't have to say your actual age. You could say, payak nitatato piponan. I'm 1 winter old. But again, I want you to try challenge yourself. And it's good to be able to say your own age in the Hiwewin, completely in the Hiwewin, making sure that we stay in the language. So I'm going to ask a few of you. Let's see. Ashley, mate wichihin. Much to say. Oh no, are you there?
Yeah.
Now you ready?
No.
Tatata peponian. How old are you in English?
So I go that one, right?
Yeah, but you put your number first, the age.
Oh gosh, this is hard. I need a reference. I did.
Yeah,
I don't open. I'm 32.
32. So we're gonna take the word for 30. Say this with me. Say nisto mitano.
Nisto mitano.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna put first. And coming right after it, we're gonna say niso sap. So say this with me. Say nisto mitano niso sap.
Nisto mitano nisosap.
Nititato piponan.
Nitatato pitona nan.
Again, say nisto mitano niso sap.
Nisto mitano nisosap. Niti. Nope.
No, go ahead.
Nititato piponan.
There we go. Perfect. Yeah. So that would be your age right there. Nisto mitano, 30. And you have to make sure you add that other part. Niso sap. Nisto mitano niso sap. 27, you would say nisitano epa kupo sap. So say that, Tanisha. Tantata pepodian. Tantata pepodian. Are you Sai? To Sai. 44. Okay, to Sai, that's okay. That's 44 right there. So Sylvia. Tantato peponian. March to side to. Tanisha, how we say it? 27, we say needs to know. Oh, I even spelled it wrong. Look at that. That's my fault. Needs to know tepa kupo sap. Needs to know tepa kupo sap. 27. Needs to know tepa kupo sap. So yours is kind of long because yeah, it's like the higher you go in age, the longer it gets. That's what you'll see. So when you're like, if you're in your 60s, holy, you just have a big long word now. Michael Larock, Mate Wichihin.
Hey, Mr. No, aye, neosap, nita tawa pionan.
So 38.
Yeah. Hey, you
Yeah,
got
say,
it.
yeah. I understood it. Say nisto mitano.
Nisto mitano.
Ayena neosap.
Ayaneos. Ayaneneosap.
Yeah, nititato piponan.
Mitatato pipanan.
Ah, Tante Chiquia, Michael, are you from Turtle Mountain or Lestock or a different place?
Meadow Lake.
You're from Meadow Lake. You're on the rock from Meadow Lake. Oh, Ali.
Yeah.
I have cousins from Turtle Mountain who are the rocks.
Oh, Dele.
Yeah, you guys probably related way back then. How perfect. Mervin, Mate Witsihin. Tantato Peponian. Tantato Peponian.
Darlene Nitsikason.
Oh yeah, your name's Darlene. How Tantato Peponian, how old are you?
Piako Sap Nititan Topinonan.
Say Nititato Piponan.
Nitotat Topiponan.
Yeah, so you're 11?
Yep.
Yeah, that's good. Nititato Piponan, that's perfect. So I'll ask one more person and then we'll kind of wrap it up. Like I said, we're following the schedule, but we don't have to follow it all the time because there's still some stuff I want to talk about from this slideshow that we're going to be continuing on next class. Let's see. Tanya, Matewichihin. Tanya. Tantato Peponian. Oh, I don't know if she's. I don't know if I can hear you. No, I don't think I can hear you. Watch, still can't hear you. Moya kapeta atin. If not, that is okay. It is okay. Amy. Tantato Peponian.
I am just driving, so I.
Oh, you're
will-
driving.
I don't know if I'll be able to look at the screen and say it.
Oh, you know, well, how old are you in English? I can help you.
34.
34, so say nisto mitano.
Isto mitano.
Say nisto mitano newosap.
Isto mitano meo.
And say nititato piponan.
Say it again, sorry.
Nititato piponan.
Nito. I'm not sure.
Again, say this. Say nititato
Nititato.
piponan.
Piponan.
Again, nititato
Nitato.
piponan. There we go. Yeah, if you break it up into two, but your age, say it again. Nisto mitano newosap.
Isto mitano neosap.
Perfect. No, that was perfect. Good job. Found the bad words in Swampy Cree. The kukush words. So like I said, there's still some stuff that I want to talk about from this this slideshow. We're going to talk about the beginning of next class. I always say we have a schedule. Doesn't mean we have to stick to it. We can talk about things. So we're going to be going over the months at the beginning and then moving on to other things next class. So for that, everybody have a good night. I thank you guys for all coming back here. Zoom on Zoom and coming to learn. So we'll see you guys all next week and it'll be good. We'll have some
Welcome.
Aho. Yeah.